Hey, Boaz here with the Pedal Powered Talk Show. We're here at the Hotel Sorrento in Seattle to chat with parapsychology consultant Neil McNeill. Let's go, Phil.
The Pedal Powered Talk Show is a talk show on a bike, and you're watching it now.
So were you interested in the paranormal as a kid?
Oh, absolutely. From the time that I was a little kid, my sister used to see the family ghost.
What's the family ghost?
The family ghost, well, she used to tell me stories that she would wake up in the middle of the night and there would be this figure standing at the foot of her bed. Years later, we were flipping through family albums with Mom and Dad, and my sister pointed at a photo and said, "That's the guy that I've seen in my bedroom at night." And my mother said, "Well, that's Uncle Tony, and he appears to all the ladies in the family at some point during their lifetime." So apparently this was a thing that goes back in my family. I had absolutely no idea.
So what does parapsychology entail?
Basically, what parapsychology studies are psychic phenomena: telepathy, precognition, psychokinesis, distance healing, as well as the meat and potatoes of what I do, which is ghosts, hauntings, poltergeists, out-of-body experience.
One of the things you're particularly interested in is apparitions.
Yes.
And you've done a lot of field work.
Yes.
And so what does that kind of field work look like?
People will call up, and invariably the first thing that they will say is, "You're going to think I'm crazy, but," and then the ghost story comes out. So I try to look for patterns, and I try to eliminate creaky floorboards or a broken down refrigerator or a raccoon under the front porch.
Have you ever had an experience where they do describe things and it is just a raccoon under the front porch?
Oh yes, actually 9 times out of 10 that's what happens. It's usually misperception.
And the Sorrento has sort of a history that has some apparitions as well.
Yeah, the Sorrento actually just last year, USA Today listed it as one of the top 13 most haunted hotels in the world. When you first come into the hotel, you should be on the lookout if a little dog runs across your path, followed very closely by a little boy. He'll just run in by the elevators and then disappear, and nobody will see him again. If you're having a drink in the Dunbar room, don't be surprised if your glass is moved. That's not necessarily the living doing that either. The 4th floor of the hotel is probably the most famous for activity.
That's where we are right now.
Which is exactly where we are. There are reports of activity ranging from footsteps heard up and down the hall when there is nobody there in the middle of the night, to seeing a wispy, whitish figure that seems to be female walking up and down the corridor, as well as in the area or in room 408.
And you ran into a ghost once.
There was a case that I had approximately a dozen years ago, and they were reporting cabinets opening, lights being left on, things like that, while the group that I was with was interviewing the family in one part of the house. I walked into a room, got about 3 feet in the door, and literally ran into something. I thought I'd hit a wall, but there was nothing to actually see. Turned out that after I read the interview from the family, that was the room where the apparition activity actually had been happening.
Were you up for a question from the Ask-O-Matic?
Sure.
Okay. What is your favorite weather and what kind of jacket does it require?
My favorite weather is late summer, Indian summer, late afternoon. And all that really requires is a short sleeve t-shirt. That's all I need, really. I don't need a jacket.
Well, Neil, thanks so much for chatting with us.
Thank you. I really appreciate
it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And you're in the process of moving houses now.
Yes.
So did you make sure the house you're moving into isn't haunted?
It's really interesting. People ask me that. In the paranormal community, nobody asks me that question when they found out that I bought a house. It's everybody else that wants to know. No, I wasn't looking for a haunted house, and I didn't check first thing to find out whether the house was haunted. It's not at this point. It's I don't want to say it's dead. It's got a really nice energy to it, but no, it does not have any ghosts attached to it.